Welcome to the Academy of Kimball Martial Arts 7-Day Martial Art Challenge for Beginners. What we've done in the last couple of days is we've learned a kind of a solid foundation for self-defense. And without a solid foundation, of course, you can know a lot of things, but it's not going to help you much. If you don't have a good, sturdy stance and you go to block somebody, you might not get hit in the face, but you might end up on the ground. And that might be even a worse for you than even getting hit in the face. I know it sounds weird, but you're on the ground now, they can kick you. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do it's about a 15-minute lesson. So we're going to go through the review, so you know so you start to really feel comfortable with this stuff. It becomes second nature. Then we're going to go through some of the approaches and some of the actual self-defense, getting into the understanding of how a situation may come about. So first, we're going to go through our little training session. Remember, it takes about 2 minutes or so. So we're going to go to a fighting stance, and then we're going to come up and go to the other fighting stance. Then we go forward to a fighting stance. Then the other one. Then we go sideways. And I'm going to go sideways. All right, we're just going to rush through that a couple of times here. Loose and natural. Okay, here we go. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. See, not so hard. Okay, so what we're trying to do is with the little wider stance that we normally step, if you recall, so I'm trying to get your hands to get up in front of your face to guard, and I want your mind to know if you step back in this position here that your hands need to go up. That a situation is going to happen, you need to protect yourself so we can get away from kind of these reflexes that happen. So solid, stable, you got a solid stance, you're balanced, you're more secure, you're more confident in this. The adding of the punches and the kicks are quite easy. We won't have to do too many of these because you can do it yourself, but we'll do a couple. So we're just going to come back, put the hands up, throw a punch, throw a kick. Now I'm switching the kicks to the ball of the foot instead of the instep. Okay, so if you see the foot coming up this direction, we're doing more of a snap kick using this part of our foot. So here we go. We're going to step back. 1, throw a punch, throw a kick, stand back up, go to the other side. 2, throw a punch, throw a kick, stand back up. Okay, we're going to go back to the side, and we're going to step up and throw the side kick. Okay, and we go to the other side, and we're going to step up and throw that side kick. Now the side kick we just learned, so that's probably going to feel a little awkward for you for a little while. I don't want you to overanalyze it. I just want you to get used to picking it up and stomping. It's a powerful kick, but it becomes pretty easy once you do it. But in the beginning, it does feel a little awkward for everybody. Okay, so we then have the block. So I'm going to do the same routine. I'm going to step up, I'm going to block, and I'm going to throw some punches. So it's block, block, punch, punch. And we'll do 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now, another exercise that you can do to start getting used to this. In the beginning, it might look and feel a little silly, actually. But you do a little shadow boxing. It's a great way to warm up. It's a good exercise, but it also gets you used to moving and doing different motions. And most of the time, what happens if you don't know your motions is that you feel a little insecure doing them. You feel a little bit silly and stuff. But I think I'd rather have you feel that in the beginning, in the privacy of your own home, than in an actual confrontation. You don't want to be fighting your insecurities and yourself while dealing with another opponent. So a couple of minutes of just going through everything, loose and easy, and just free flowing a little bit. You know, throwing kicks, turning sideways, thinking about your opponent moving, driving up a few motions out there, maybe blocking and punching, block, block, punch, move to this opponent. After a while, it becomes very quickly, it's just kind of second nature. When I first started the shadow boxing, it was, you feel self-conscious basically. But when my instructor related it to like jumping rope, he'd have us jump rope, and in the beginning, you look crazy. It's hard. You're hitting your toes, but in literally 5 minutes, you're really skipping it. It looks really good, and it's easier, and you actually feel pretty good about it. Shadow boxing is the same thing, but it's very, very valuable. Okay, so now we've so you got a little bit of a routine you can do. I've given you some a platform for it. Easy for him to say. Now we need to add a few things. But before I even teach you more techniques, I think I want to talk to you about awareness and teach you a few things about, I want to say confrontation. First, I want you to be very aware of your posture and what it says about you and what it says to your opponent. And if you have a video of you around other people when you really didn't know the camera was on, maybe at a barbecue or something, and if you take a second to look at how you're standing and then also look around at everybody else and determine very quickly whether you stand out as a confident person who's aware, or if you seem like you're part of the shadow, whether you're almost hiding. Even if you don't think that on the inside, you may be confident, you may be secure, you may be able, you might have it put together, but then when you see yourself in video or in a picture, you might just have bad posture. The thing about posture and awareness, not only what your opponent sees, but it's how you move. Okay, so when somebody gets attacked, you get a fight or flight. Adrenaline dumps into your system, and you either use the adrenaline to fight or to get the heck out of town. Now, sometimes what happens is that you second guess yourself, and you doubt the situation is actually going to be a confrontation. So all that adrenaline and all that energy dumps into your system, and then you do neither. So then you freeze, because that energy is in your stomach. It comes across as excitement, but it's a fear, and then it restricts, the blood starts to, and then you tighten up, and then when the confrontation comes, you've kind of wasted that. So that's designed and used to, when it floods your system, for you to do something with it immediately. If you are in a bad posture, you're crunched over and stuff, moving from here is not going to be easy, even if you're comfortable with it. But if you think about expanding, okay? So if I lift up my chest, sternum up, pull my shoulders back and down, and expand my area, not only am I in this position, am I in a proper alignment, I can move from any direction very quickly and a lot faster than I can if I'm hunched up down in this position or if I'm all crunched over. Okay, so expanding, and when I say expanding, I don't mean somebody walks up to you and you stick your chest out and you start to do the bump the chest thing. But there is something to getting your chest up and out, okay? Looking bigger. I mean, there is something to being able to expand your body and your mind and your spirit, okay? To a more confident. If you were to see two people and you were to make a judgment on that, okay? So if I were I don't want to use me. If a criminal, a bad guy, is looking to mug somebody at a cash machine, and you got a person that walks up and he's hunching down and he's going in here, or you've got somebody that looks around, puts his card in, keeps his shoulders back, and does this thing, I almost guarantee you which one's going to get hit, okay? So what I'm trying to say is when you're practicing the stuff that I've already taught you, you're going to have to practice it with an attitude. You can't practice it on me. I would never use this stuff. You want to pull it back. You want to pull your hands up. And inside, I want you to be the superhero until that becomes who and what you are. Okay, now I know that's a lot, but sometimes it's that stuff that stops the fight from even happening, and you're not even aware of it. Okay? So somebody that's looking for a confrontation isn't looking to get hurt. They're looking to hurt somebody, okay, for some reason. Either they want something, they're angry, I don't know what, but there's something. They're not going into that confrontation saying, hey, I'm going to get my butt kicked by this guy. So your posture is going to be the first impression, so you're going to make it strong and you're going to make it a good one. Plus it makes you feel better about yourself. And it gives you clues. It gives you awareness. You're up here, you see it coming in this direction. Your body, you're just aware. Here, you don't see it till it's right here. Okay, so practice it. Now, what we're going to do is a common attacks. The hook punch, or the slap. Just get your hand in there. Duck if you can, but right now, get your hand in front of his weapon in your face, and then just bang, start punching, and don't stop until it's over. Okay? Simple advice. Okay, here comes the punch. Get your hand up there and just start punching and maybe a kick until fight's over. Now, another thing that happens is the shove. Okay, they walk up and then they shove you. Anytime somebody shoves you, you have let the person get too close. You've made a couple of mistakes. One mistake is whatever happened to get it there. The second mistake is you let them get close. The third mistake is you let them shove you. You have a personal space and you need to figure out what that is. And if you don't let somebody in that personal space, they can't shove you. Okay, so a stance distance, right there, that from there to there, it's my personal space. Okay, it's my space. You step into that. I'm hyper aware. I let you into my personal space. I don't let you get into it when I don't want it there. In fact, if you step there and I don't want you there, my hand comes back and I take a step back. So long as you're not in that personal space, you can't hurt me, okay, unless you have a weapon. So to let somebody get into your personal space and thinking something isn't going to happen is, we can't even go there. Because you, at close distance, at half range, the person who moves first wins. Doesn't matter how long they've trained or what their skill level. Unless it's your strategy to let them get close so that you can do something, then this is something you don't want. So what we're going to first do is defending against a shove is actually really easy. You just got to get out of the way. And you already know the steps. But what we're going to first do is we're going to learn that distance. And that distance is where you step forward to get into your fighting stance. When somebody approaches that distance, all you have to do is step back. Now look at what I've just done. Okay, I've bought myself distance, which is also buying time. And I got my weapon back here, and if he keeps coming, I can at least defend myself. The second thing I've done is I've stabilized myself. Okay, now I'm in a position to where I can get my hands up, I can do something. Now the situation might not call for you to pull fully up into a stance and start fighting. You may actually cause issues. The person might be a little irritating. You might just be a person that likes to get, close. And I have a couple of friends like that. They think they need to be right here so you can hear them. But it's still my space. I can choose whether they come in. So what we're going to practice is the hand just comes up. You notice, watch the foot. This goes back. This drags a little bit. So instead of stepping into a solid base, I'm just sort of taking the same space, but I don't want to look aggressive. Okay? I don't want to cause something. I don't want to have them read something that maybe is not there. And then all you do is get your hands up. Okay? So it's just very simple. Step, drag, right? Step, drag, hands come up. Hey, can I help you? Right? Simple self-defense. Hey, can I help you? From this position here, there's openings only here, and we've got that already covered. Okay? If you're over here, the opening's right here. We have to use different blocks. So I prefer this one for now, or for a beginner. You're like kind of inviting a punch high so that you could do these motions. So here's the simple training. Step back, remember this. Okay? Shorten it all up. And back. 2. Back. 3. Back. 4. Back. 5, just hands up. Hey, I don't want any trouble. Back. 6, just up. Hey, really simple. Can I help you? That's, if he steps past into that space, that's aggression. Okay, now you're going to have to deal with it, right? But you've given him a warning and you've backed up. If the person is just the type of person that does that, they will know that that's not acceptable and they'll back off if there isn't anything going to happen. Okay, so just remember, it's personal space, which means it's your space. Let somebody in there, but that's up to you. You should make sure you know who that is. I'm not going to be the person that's walking toward me, okay? I'm not too sure. And by the way, I like the hands up, and I like the hands moving. It draws the eyes, and it allows me to kick, okay? So I'm going to get the hey, 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 hey. But I'm really ready. I'm probably going to kick before I use these. Now, once you get that down, add what we know. You need to visualize these things, okay? Here comes somebody, they're coming up, you don't quite, so your hands come up, then you block and you punch and you punch and you throw a kick, and then you step back and you put your hands down and look around. Really easy stuff, right? I mean, this isn't hard. Maybe he's walking from this position. Hey, do I know you? Boom, boom, boom. Really, really, really simple training methods. Visualize the attack, get to the position, block, punch, hit, kick, and step back up. Sometimes I'm asked, well, how many punches, how many kicks? Well, I'm going to tell you, until it's over. Whether that's 1, hopefully it will be 0, but 1 or 50, you don't stop until you can't continue anymore. Sometimes a person will get hit in a fight, but they're in the fight, they're moving, they don't even know they've been hit. And adrenaline does its magic, and they don't stop, boom. Then after they're done, they're, wow, what just happened? How did I break my hand? But if they haven't acted and they haven't responded when they get hit before all that happens, then self-preservation kicks in. Am I injured? Am I going to get hurt? Am I going to live through this? As soon as that activates in your mind, that self-talk and that fear, you're fighting again two opponents, yourself and the person who's come in. So today's lesson is much more theory-based, and was to get you into the idea of being not a victim and understanding your personal space and understanding what you're responsible for to protect yourself, your family. You just, that's it. If somebody is trying to get into that space, as long as he doesn't have a weapon, I can continuously keep my space all the way around where that person walks. I can choose whether or not to let him in there. To allow a person to break that space and get right in your face is, you've broken so many rules. And usually when that happens, it's because the person, the victim, doesn't think anything bad's going to happen. I think he's misreading it. I think it can't happen to me. This person's just a little upset. Just a couple of rules, but which I'll tell you a little bit later. But one rule is, in your personal space, nobody has a right to break it. Okay? Nobody, right? Unless you allow them to. Doesn't matter who they are. Okay? So let's pick it up tomorrow with that attitude in all of the training. Okay, so keep that attitude. Go back and retrain everything we did, but train it with that attitude. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow for, what is it, day 6 already? Awesome job, guys.